Hello, thank you for your recent purchase of a STERIS 4095 surgical table. My name is Alex Sylvan. I am the Surgical Account Manager in Sacramento, California, and we are here today to in-service your new 4095 surgical table. What we're going to do is we're going to start at the base of the table, go over some basics, and we are going to work our way up and highlight some of the table's benefits and features that are going to be relevant to you and your staff. Okay, we are going to jump into the base of the table and some of the weight capacity claims of the STERIS 4095. Now, with the table the way it is right now, completely level, the weight capacity is 1,100 pounds. If the table were put into any type of articulation while it is centered, then the weight capacity is 1,000 pounds. And one of the key numbers to remember is when the table is slid, does not matter if it's slid 1 inch, 9 inch, either to the head or to the foot, while under articulation, the weight capacity is 600 pounds. And that is the number that we really want everybody in the room and the staff to remember for future use, because that's typically how you're going to be using the table. All these weight capacity claims are right here on the base of the table. You've got your 1,100 with the table level, with no articulation, 1,000 pounds when the table is articulated, and then that very key number, 600 pounds when the table is slid and articulated. We have one more weight capacity when the table is set for reverse patient orientation and the head section is attached to the leg section. If the tabletop slide is applied toward the head section, the weight capacity is now 575 pounds. This weight capacity only applies in this situation. So while we're talking about the base, are these warning labels. So basically the warning labels are telling you, please do not put anything on the base of the table. The reason for this is because damage can occur when the table is articulated and potentially various items on the base of the table can be pushed into the center column or the base of the table and cause damage, both to that item as well as to the STERIS table. Rounding out the base of the table, at the head section, you'll notice that that is where the power connection can take place. The STERIS 4095 table is a battery-powered table. The battery can last up to 2 weeks. There is a colored power gradient at the head section that shows you the remaining power left on the table. Also on the hand control, it will let you know if the table is under AC power or battery power. There is a backup control that's stored at the base of the table. All of your basic features that you would find on the normal hand control can be accessed here. If there is total loss of power to the surgical table, this pump is actually a pneumatic foot pump that allows you to make the articulation that you require in order to get the patient back to level and safely off the table. Also, all the floor lock features can be accessed through the backup hand control. All right, we've covered the base, working our way up to the tabletop. So the STERIS 4095 table, similar to all of our surgical tables, has a 4-section tabletop. There's the head, back, seat, and leg section. The leg section is removable by 2 small levers right here on the bottom of the leg section. You'll notice that the male prongs connecting the leg section to the table are on the leg section itself. Rather than having the male prongs on the seat section, we have the smooth receptacles that again can be placed all the way down. The base of the 4095 was actually made 2 inches shorter than the previous STERIS table version, which is the 4085. The smaller 2-inch base is ultimately there to make sure that your surgeon has a little bit more room when seated at the distal portion of the surgical table. So I'm going to replace the leg section. Clicks back in, there's an audible click that lets you know for confirmation that the leg section has been completely put back into the table and that you're safe and good to go. Also, if you notice, just past the surgical pads is that there is a small little green line indicator. Again, green is good, so as long as you see the green line, you know that the leg section has been completely placed back into the receptacles on the surgical table. Okay, and now to the head section. The headrest on the 4095 is a dual articulating headrest. It has 2 adjustments that include tilt and height. They can be used in combination by the anesthesiologist to improve airway management, especially in supine or lateral positions. To drop this back down, you would use the right lever to drop the tilt and the left lever to lower the height of the headrest. Another feature on the 4095 is the side rails. So these side rails are the same universal side rails that you're used to using. Your table accessory clamps are still going to fit here. The key difference being that there are no screws in the side rails. This smooth surface allows for all of your hospital infection prevention techniques to be able to be used here because there are no small holes or crevices that any bioburden can particularly find its way in. Okay, now we will get into the hand control on the 4095. So the 4095 hand control, the first thing that you'll notice is the LCD screen. This is kind of your home base. This is going to let you know if the table is locked or unlocked. It's also going to give you a reference of approximately how far it is slid both to the head or to the foot. And there is also a nice feature that shows you once the table is centered. There's a nice little pause there just to give you the indication that the table is centered. As you'll notice, there are color coding on the 4095 hand control buttons. This is really just to give you a nice visual cue of the articulation that you're looking for. So if you reference the remote quickly, you're going to see that we've got the slide features, the trend, the height up or down, some of the key hand control articulations that you're looking for, you're going to be able to locate immediately. There is also an automatic kidney elevator on the hand control rather than a manual kidney elevator. This allows for the 4-inch kidney elevator on the table to be able to raise and lower. And then as we go into the bottom functions on the hand control, there is the table lock and unlock button. Now, this is an extremely important feature because, again, it's critical to know that the table is locked when the patient is on the table. So typically we say green is good. You see the green button here, and then on the LCD screen there is also a small little green lock icon. To unlock the table, you would hold the lock button down for 3 seconds. This will unlock the self-leveling floor locks. Now the table is unlocked. You also know that by the hand control. The little LED light indicator is now orange, and then also on the LCD screen, that lock button is now an orange unlock. So to lock, you would hold the lock down for 1 second. We've got our floor locks now re-engaged. The table is locked. You see green there, green on the LCD screen, good to go. To place the table in reverse orientation, you simply just hold the button down for 2 seconds. The button is going to turn orange. You are going to know that you're in reverse orientation by that button turning orange. To place it back into normal orientation, you simply just hold the button for 2 more seconds. It will come back to green. You're in normal orientation. One key feature to note, when you're in reverse orientation, the level button will not work. So the level button only brings the table back to level when the table is in normal orientation. That takes us to the level button. The level button can be used to bring the table back in an ergonomically correct way for your patient. What I mean by that is it's not going to just raise the leg section fully, take you out of reverse trend. It's going to bring each section back piece by piece, which is going to be easier for the patient. And then finally, there is the stop button. So the stop button on the hand control, you simply just hold the button down. It turns the hand control completely off. To turn the hand control back on, all you would have to do is just hit any button on the hand control, and now you're back. So a nice feature on the 4095 hand control is that the cable is detachable for the hand pendant. This would be a nice feature in case damage ever occurred to the power cable. You would be able to replace this rather than having to replace the entire assembly. If the primary hand control were to be damaged during the procedure, you could access the backup hand control to safely complete your procedure. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to go into is the auto limit sensor, or anti-collision system. Now, what this is a software feature of the table that stops the table from articulating into itself based on the movement that you're making. So I'll show you that right now, and I'll do a quick demonstration. I'm going to lower the leg section. Now, at this table, low tabletop height, the leg section is eventually going to run into the base of the table. With the auto limit sensor, what is going to happen is that the hand control is going to stop the articulation from taking place. So as you see, we've stopped right before we got to the base of the table, and there is an indicator of ALS, which is the auto limit sensor. Also, what is nice about this feature is the sensor is going to tell you the motion that you need to make in order to make the articulation that you are trying to make. it is telling me right now that I have to raise the tabletop height in order to drop the leg section further. Just a nice feature that again protects you, protects your patient, and protects your investment on the table. Okay, one key feature about the auto limit sensor is that it is not a sensor. This is a software program on the 4095 that knows the table's articulation in comparison to itself as well as the ground. So at this point, it knows that the leg section is very close to hitting the base of the table. There is no sensor that would pick up a third-party device. So for example, if we had a kick bucket at the base of the table, which is fairly common, the table would not know that that kick bucket was there, and it would run directly into that third-party device. So it's key to note that we have an anti-collision system that is a software program. There are no sensors on the leg section or on the table in general that pick up third-party devices. Okay, so we will go into the pads that are on your surgical table. So these pads are a little bit different. They are 3 inches thick, so provide a little bit more comfort than standard surgical tabletop pads. And the primary difference being this main pad on the back and seat section of the table is actually a heated pad. Now what this does is the control right behind me allows the pads to be heated from these sensors that are on the tabletop pad, and it allows the patient to maintain proper normothermia when placed on the surgical table. We will get into this a little bit deeper in a separate in-service. We want to thank you again for joining us today for our surgical table in-service. Again, thank you for your investment on the 4095 table. If either myself or your local STERIS surgical account manager can be of any help, please let us know and we will be happy to assist. Thanks again.